y'all, what's happening? It is Wednesday night. Welcome back to AO, the show where you're not a victim, but you're a volunteer to invigorating conversations. This Wednesday is Hump Day. We back in the building, and we are so excited to be here with y'all. We in the building with the fellas, the AO crew. What's happening, y'all?
Fine. I just had to move your little gum out of my way. Disgusting.
You're a hater.
I'm not a hater. Not at all. You was annoying me on purpose today.
Like, so, she can't even have the gum pack in front of you?
I'm saying.
No, son. She literally came and looked at me, hugged me, and was chewing gum in my face. Like,
so if you missed last week's show, we talked about pet peeves, and we know that Corey's pet peeve is a female, specifically a female chewing gum. Like, how petty is that?
It's not petty.
That's
Shit is
petty.
annoying, son.
Whatever.
Yeah, sorry.
It is petty.
It's petty, right?
It's petty to y'all.
You like fresh breath as long as you don't see how it becomes fresh.
Right.
Here's the thing. We're not going to dissect my pet peeve. I have a pet peeve. What the hell was y'all's pet peeve?
You have quite a few.
Oh, exactly. So why y'all addressing mine? Hey, let me be great.
Well, it's Wednesday night. Shout out to everyone. We are back in the building. We're happy to be here. Shout out to the Highest Live family. As always, thank you for tuning in. To our Facebook Live family, thank you for tuning in. We are excited to be here. It's Wednesday. It's Hump Day. And the question of the hour is always, are you open?
Yup.
Yes. Yep.
Absolutely.
You open?
Hey,
cool. Hey, yo, welcome to tonight's show. We have a wonderful show for you guys tonight. But before we get started, as you can see, we have a wonderful guest with us. And right before we introduce him, real quick, fellas, how was your week?
My week's been good. Positive week, honestly.
Good.
It's a good week. I mean, simple. I ain't gonna should add more to it than it needs. No sauce needed.
No sauce needed.
You had a sauceless week?
Well, I had sauce, but
You dipped the ribs in sauce.
Nah.
He had a little bit of sauce.
A little bit of sauce on the ribs, brother.
Good weekend with the kids.
Right.
Positive week at work.
Definitely.
No drama. Mary J.
That's always good.
Yeah.
No drama.
Chilling.
All right, Rels, what's going on with you?
Yeah.
G-Dash, how was your week?
Listen, phenomenal. Another one. Another blessed and highly favored. Okay.
Doing what you do
Listen,
best.
I save lives and get money. Okay.
Save lives. I was waiting for it.
Still in the blessing and saving lives business, I guess.
Right.
Listen.
Right.
Listen, if you don't save lives, find a way to. Huh? How about that?
Oh my God.
If you don't save lives,
find a way to.
Yeah,
okay.
well,
I say that's
God bless
right. Right though. Okay.
Hey, how was yours?
My week was good. I'm looking forward to the weekend.
Are you?
Yeah.
I've been looking forward to a lot of weekends.
I know, because I need some things to be happening on the weekend.
I hear that.
Yes, God.
Yeah.
Right?
Or not be safe. Let's not be safe, man.
No, let's be safe always.
Let's be safe.
Let's be safe always.
You're going to have fun. Be safe with it.
I hear you.
Exactly. My grandmother used to always say, if you can't be good, be careful.
I hear that.
You know what I mean?
Your family be dropping a lot of jewels. What was the one
that's
from last week?
That's the old West Indian.
What's the other J?
A lazy man will walk 2 times.
I've been thinking about that shit.
Yes.
I was doing something. I was like, you know what?
Let me stop being lazy.
That definitely hit me out of nowhere.
Shout out to mommy. Yes.
Shout out to mom. What's mom's name?
Elaine.
Yes.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Mama Shatta.
Right, Mama Shatta.
Mama Shatta.
That's a fact. Shout out to mom.
A mess. So yes, great. Looking forward to the weekend. Yeah, things have been good. No complaints.
That's good.
All right, well, we got a wonderful guest in the building. I had the privilege of meeting him before the show, and definitely looking forward to tonight's show. Gonna have a good time tonight. I'm gonna let Corey do the introductions.
Y'all really want me to do like the whole introduction?
Hey, do how you want it.
Well, I introduce him as a grown man. I ain't gonna do too much. So special guest tonight is my nephew Jaquan Wilkerson, Officer Jaquan Wilkerson.
Get it right.
Proud to have him on the show. Words can't express how proud I am of him. Everything he's accomplished and everything he will continue to accomplish. Not only as my nephew, as a Wilkerson, but as a man. So I appreciate you being on the show. Thank you. God bless and team love. So, everybody, welcome Jaquan Wilkerson to the show.
Awesome. What's happening, Jaquan?
Hey, I'm chilling. First thing, I won't be addressed as officer. Call me Jaquan or call me Jay. I want this to be real open and free. Yeah.
I can call you Smooth.
You call me that.
I can call you that. All right, cool.
Smooth.
Yeah.
Young Quan from the 1 block? No?
The 1 block.
The 100 block?
The 1 block.
872 block.
872 block.
Yeah.
Too many numbers. It doesn't work.
So that's
Okay.
cool.
All right, so tonight we have a wonderful show. We have, like they said, Officer Smooth. Oh, I'm sorry, just Smooth.
Right.
Smooth.
Just Smooth.
Or Jaquan. I must say, I'm feeling very homely tonight and very blessed tonight. I'm surrounded with my fellow New Yorkers in the building. I know Corey's always here. We got Jake.
Yeah, listen.
Definitely love you, though. I do. I love you, Roz.
You don't have an option, but I appreciate the thought.
I love you, but you know, it's something about the New Yorkers. And it's crazy because as we was driving up and I'm like, listen, everybody's just talking. I'm just like, there's no place like home. I feel like Dorothy. I'm taking my heels 3 times.
And you
like
definitely
You
did
heard the sound
98
of it.
miles an hour. When you started
yo,
talking,
where the
shit
cop
just
in the
got
car?
hyped.
But wait, I got on the phone. I was like, yo, dude, I'm on the phone. And there's a cop in the back of my car right now. Like,
Right.
whatever you do, don't give me a ticket.
That's a fact.
Please, don't give me a ticket.
Wow.
Don't give me a ticket, please. My bad. I didn't mean it. It just happened.
Word,
Like, we was around the
word.
corner.
That's a fact.
Yeah. So, anyway. So, definitely welcome, Jaquan. Listen, you're home. We here to talk. Just letting everybody know, shout out to all the Facebook Live followers. You got them up on your screen. You want to shout
I
them out?
do. So shout out to Linda Gardner for watching.
Hey, Linda.
Shout out to Crystal Wilkerson for watching. Shout out to Ronnie Wilkerson for watching. Shout out to Mel Mix. Shout out to Cheryl Warner watching. That's all that's loading up on my screen right now.
All right.
Yeah.
Shout out to all of y'all. Listen, it's not too late. Do me a favor. Hit that share button. Invite your friends. Invite the players. Invite the haters. Invite your dog. Listen, tell everybody tune in tonight. We are talking to Jaquan tonight. I was about to say officer. But we are talking about to protect and serve and protect someone. Please call 911. And we're talking about police in the community. And we actually have an officer in the building here with us tonight. And I'm excited because he's going to share his side of the
Right.
story. You know, us on the community side, on the society side, we have our own personal views and our feelings about the men in blue. But it's going to be good tonight to hear from an actual man in blue. Well, he's in red tonight, but
Yeah, right.
he in red tonight.
My favorite color.
His favorite color.
colors, right?
But we're going to hear from an actual officer that's actually on the front line that, you know, does this every day. You know, so who better to tell us what it's really like than somebody who's actually out there. So listen, share tonight's post, share tonight's broadcast, so let your friends know, like, tune in, come with your questions. I just want to put a disclosure out here. We are not here to bash any of the men in blue. We're not here to bash Jaquan. We're not here to bash or to put him down. He's just here. We just here to have a discussion. That's why we said this is called AO. We're not a victim. Ain't nobody here victims, but we're all volunteers to just have open discussions. So bring your questions.
Please do.
You know, we're gonna share some insight. It's good to hear from the other side. So, you know, we appreciate you being here and giving us
Definitely. I
this.
appreciate y'all having me. So.
Definitely.
It's good to have a conversation. You know,
Mhm.
not every time you get a chance to do that and just have a conversation about both sides of the story.
Right.
So just be respectful and be an adult.
Right.
Otherwise, focus doesn't come out.
No,
That side.
we not.
Yeah.
Jay, Ronnie said put some chapstick on.
He said what?
Put some chapstick on.
Yeah.
Somebody
know.
shut up, man. Always,
I don't know.
always
He's-
talking, man.
Everybody-
Everybody,
talking here.
tell who Ronnie is.
Huh?
Tell who Ronnie is.
For my brother.
Okay.
I am no
That explains it all.
Yeah,
That
right.
explains it all. All right. Shout out to Prince Martinez. Thank you for tuning in and watching with us.
I'm not
Again.
gonna do it.
Yeah, I want
I'm
to take
not.
the purple rain shot, but I'm not going to do it.
do it to him.
They
What's up,
represent Prince. So and again, if you're tuned into Facebook Live, we thank you for tuning in. Again, if you're having a hard time reaching us on Facebook Live, you can listen in on the Hottest Live Radio. Go to your Google Play and iTunes App Store and download the Hottest Live app, where there is music and different radio shows on 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And also you can catch us here live on the Hottest Live every Wednesday night at 9 p.m. And if you want to call into tonight's show, the number is 302-272-9772. Again, it's 302-272-9772. Shout out to Miss B. What's happening, baby? Thank you for tuning in. All right, we're gonna jump right on in.
Yeah. What's this question?
We're gonna do our getting to know you segment real quick.
Make it a good one, because we gotta break Jaquana.
Getting to know all about you.
Right.
All right, so if you're just tuning in, we're having our getting to know you segment. This is where we get to know each other just a little bit more. We give the people a little bit of something. So the first question is, when people come to you for help, what do they usually want help with? When people come to you for help, what do they usually want help with?
Nelly?
Oh, you want me to start?
Ooh, right.
Because this is interesting.
This is interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, their whole lives. Really.
Okay.
I mean, I'm a therapist, so they come to me with everything from sex to relationship to religion to mental health to just I'm crazy. And I tell them, welcome to the real world. We all are. So, yeah. So, I don't know. I'm to everything.
Welcome to the real world.
Yeah.
I hear that. This is going to be a good one.
Oh, yeah.
What they come for you for, Jay?
G.
G.
J.
What they come for you, Jay?
N.
Everything.
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 Yeah?
Everything.
What's everything?
Mainly, I'll say relationship
Yeah.
problems. You know, like I'm going through this. What you think about this? What you advice?
Right.
I thought being a cop, like they would come to you
For that too.
for other things.
That's
Okay.
A lot of advice,
Mhm.
top questions, which I understand it, but it could be annoying.
So, like, if I robbed a bank, how much time would I get?
Nah, not
Estimating.
those.
Nothing like that.
Nah.
I'm just saying, I mean, I would want to know before I try to do it.
Like when you sit in the barbershop chair, they'd be like, yo, so let me ask you a question.
Yeah,
As a cop.
yeah.
So if the body's in the trunk right now,
how much time would I get?
Like, well, open the trunk. Let's
Right.
see. You know what I mean? Jarrell?
you always going last.
That's a fact.
And honestly, I think this is going to be pretty much all of what I think I was going to say next. I think people come to me about any and everything, right? Like it doesn't really matter. Everything from relationship advice to, hey, I'm planning a birthday party for my husband / housewarming. What do you think about this? All right, listen, it's dope if that's what you're gonna do. You taking away from his birthday if that's what you want, if that's what you think of, but
Right.
depends on what you care. I get people ask me roughly about everything. But I kind of think. Well, what about you, Lord?
Cut it off.
Yeah,
I'll
I'll finish after you go, but
That's cute. I think for me, people come to me just for really just to listen. Honestly, I'm like their conscience. You know, people ask me relationship advice, or it's not really relationship advice. It's really about personal advice. What do you think about X? Or how would you feel if X happened? Or you know, what do you think? You know, so also in my job, people come to me. So what's the next stage of my career? What do you think I should be doing? What do you think I should focus on? So I think it's comes a wild range of stuff. You know, even from a family perspective. You know, things that I've been through. That the other people, the younger people in my family are going to go through. So what would you do at X? You know, whether it's parenting, just how to deal with family, just how to deal with a lot of stuff. I mean, I think, but I love it though. I mean, I had that as I was growing up, but I think that for me, it's easier to have that conversation now as opposed to make the mistake. So like I used to say, you know, I made some of probably the biggest mistakes personally from the ages of 18 to 25. And people will say, well, just let him go through it. He'll figure it out. But sometimes you can't recover from it. And you pay for those mistakes at 35, 36 years old that you could have addressed really young. So I take every opportunity to have a conversation really with anybody. So that's kind of how it goes for me.
Cool.
and just to clarify what I was going to say before, I think that's part of why we're here. Right? Like, because people come to us for almost anything. We can talk about almost anything we can create. Like, for me, I think it probably lends more into creating clarity, right? Sometimes people need to be asked the right questions to understand really where they need to go.
That's a good point.
Not necessarily give them the answer, but help lead them to their own guidance.
Right.
And, you know, so.
Hey,
Through that?
so y'all all like low-key therapists?
Not at all.
Yeah, y'all
I
are.
understand. I don't care.
Oh, here you go. Okay. Shout out to DK Johnson, Tydrea.
Keep it moving.
Tydrea.
I just feel like you could say Ty. Like, I feel like you don't have to
Because
limit this hard.
I'm really trying to
Yeah,
do
but
it.
sometimes effort doesn't count.
Tydrea.
Like, why are we limit off the effort?
Hi,
to this point?
Tydrea. Hi, boo.
Say Ty. Let's
No, I'm going to say
you.
Tydrea, though.
Okay, well, you good.
I'm going to say
Maybe next week.
El Diablo. What's happening? And Crystal Lynn, what's happening, y'all? The next question is, what is the most annoying question that people ask you?
The most annoying
What's the
question
most
somebody
annoying
asks.
question that people ask you?
I don't know. The question I don't feel like answering at the moment.
Right.
And you go. And you go.
The most annoying question somebody asked me. I think the most annoying question is the question that you ask when you really don't want to hear what I have to say.
Give an example.
You know what I mean? Somebody be like, yo, so how do you feel about X? And then before I get the answer out, I'm 3 words in and you cut me off. What am I talking for?
Right.
Right? So I think it's that. I think it's the question that you ask that you really don't really want the answer to. You know, some people want your opinion, but they really don't want your opinion.
They don't want you to be honest.
They don't want the truth.
You know what I mean? So, you know, people want the truth, but they really don't want to. They really don't want it. They want it. They want their truth. You say that, or they want you to agree. You know what I mean? I think that's the thing for me. But I'm down for open for any conversation, any discussion. It's just we gotta have a 2-way conversation.
Hey yo.
And that's all. And I think that's the thing. So, you know,
Hey yo.
facts.
Hey yo.
You open? Right.
Hey yo.
The question that when you're not open.
So that's the question. That's the most annoying question to you.
When you're not open.
When you're not open.
Talking about.
Okay.
Jarrell.
What's the most annoying question?
Well, for me, it's in the same world. But for me, it's when you know the answer and you're asking the question, but wait for it. Instead of asking the question, you're talking around the question. That irritates me, right? Like if you're so, Jerome, let me ask you something. So, all right. So I'm thinking about going to the store and picking up X, Y, and Z. Yeah. You know what you think about that,
like,
right? What's the question? Right? I hate having to ask you what's the question after you give me that. After you give me information, don't just give me information. Ask the question because I'm going to respond to you. What's the question?
Right.
They gave you the answer.
Right. That's what they'll do. They come up to you, give you the answer, and then you have to say, "What is really the question?" You already knew.
So what do you want?
Yeah, like that.
That's true.
Jay?
So I would say mine's simple. It's a football question. To ask me, how you from New York and you a Patriots fan? As if they didn't know my whole life I've been a Patriots fan. Right?
Yo,
Really? A lot of years.
That's a good one.
I thought that was blasphemy.
Yo, but it's like I'll be asking like, why does that even matter?
Right.
I know people from like Snoop
Mm-hmm.
Dogg. He's from Cali. Steelers fan.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I know people that's from Philly that like the Cowboys. So
I
I just be asking, I'll be like, oh, why does that even matter?
Right.
Yeah, I would say that's
Because they expect you to be.
It's the rivalry.
But do you think everybody in New York is rocking the Giants, Jets jersey, or Knicks jersey? You know what I'm saying? I like what I like, and that's it.
I think they care about the Patriots because of the Boston, New York rivalry from whenever that goes back.
Yeah, Red Sox versus Yankees.
Yeah,
that type of thing.
That's what everybody thinking about.
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah, it's annoying.
Shout out to Ivy Walters, Jason Brooks, Farad. Am I saying that right? Farad, Lennon Brown. What's happening? Thank you guys for tuning in. So the question is, what is one of the most annoying questions that people ask you? And mine is, are you assessing me? It's really annoying. I could be having a regular conversation when I was dating, and I was just like, okay, so what's up with you? How was your day? It was like, yo, you assessing me right now? Nigga, I don't evaluate you for free. What is wrong with that?
They want you to assess them.
I want you to put that on a shirt. I don't evaluate for free.
Listen,
Like that's a fact.
I'm like, yo, listen, I work 9 to 5. After that, I'm done. I clocks out.
But they really want to be evaluated, though.
Apparently.
Yeah,
but it's annoying. Like, yo, you evaluating me right now? We're having a general conversation. I asked how your day was.
Right.
Like, listen, stop.
I've been guilty of that, though.
It's nasty.
You talk to somebody that does that, you feel like they're always analyzing you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's like
How was your day?
I meet people.
Really?
They ask me what I do for a living.
Yeah.
I tell them I'm a stripper.
Oh shit.
So you evaluate me?
I do, because the moment I say I'm a therapist, it's like, oh, word. So what you picking up on my daddy issues? Nigga, don't nobody care about your daddy issues.
I feel like you already know about them. If you asking me about them, what you talking about?
It's
Right.
annoying. It's
Right.
really annoying. So yeah, that's my, and I get it all the time. Or I'm like, oh my
That's
God.
true.
Listen, I'm not doing it.
That's true.
All right. So that was our getting to know you segment. Do we have a AOPOD?
Absolutely.
Let's move it on.
What the world talking about? So let's talk about our point of view on. I want to say, you got the FBI investigation on college players right now, right? Because of the money they've been receiving in goods and services. Actually, there's been other stuff going on, but we're going to leave it at goods and services right now. So, should these players have been paid
Yes.
from the rip? Why?
I've always said that the college ball players should be. Here's the thing: the colleges and the universities make so much money off of these players before they go pro. So much money. And granted, yes, they're getting an education, but you live and die based off of these athletes and the things that they provide for that university, the merchandising, the ticket sales, all of the above, and you're benefiting off of it. And the recruitment, all of that stuff is a benefit from the athletes that come to your school. So yes, I do definitely feel like they should be paid for what they do. I've always felt like that though. I've always felt like
So here's my issue. And whereas I agree, there probably should be some sort of compensation system past it. I think that depending on how it moves, how do you figure out who you pay and who you don't? Because that's the ugly. That's the ugly part, right? Because every team don't make it, and everybody don't make it. Everybody ain't that good. Everybody ain't that nice. Even in college, like, so we start giving out all this money, but technically, it's only the top 20%, roughly, that is really that nice, and really probably is getting checks now off the side. Right. So now we gonna pay everybody?
Right. Man, I think you could put something in that to your point, there's a system in place that incents X, Y, and Z college, or is that once you get past a certain point, there's an incentive program. I think that could be it. Doesn't mean that you pay everybody that just plays college basketball. That would be asinine, or asinine. Yeah. But I think there should be like some incentive system. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so this is gonna sound disrespectful.
Okay.
But technically, these college players, right, are like Monique. Understand where I'm going with this.
I'm sick of Monique.
Did you see the interview?
Shout out Charlemagne.
Did you see the interview?
I appreciate it.
Who has the power in this situation? If the colleges have the power, right, and they know ain't nobody gonna pay you more. They know you can't go nowhere until afterwards. Why am I gonna give you more money now? I'll give you a little scholarship, tell you be about your way. Because until the NCAA revamps it and says we have to, why are we going to? Matter of fact, we'll have a little boosters off to the side. Oh, you said you got some sneakers? You got a little car? Sure. All right, listen, we ain't got nothing to do with that, fam. All right, cool. And it's going to move that way. But it's going to be hard for them to really give out the cash straight up when I know don't nobody pay you. They have the balance of power. And you can't go to the league. So if you can't go to the league until after a year, right, and technically we're not supposed to pay you, so our hands is this way, everything can be backdoor and I'll keep it moving.
Yeah, but I think because of the fact that it's not happening up front, a lot of kids are getting caught on the backside, and the university is getting caught on the backside doing side deals, and then you make them ineligible, and it ruins everything. It happened with Reggie Bush.
Yep. Cam Newton.
Cam Newton. So I think there needs to be some kind of system in place where that's all brought up front and it kills all that backdoor stuff, because it's ruining universities, ruining legacies. If you see the people on that list, Duke's on the list.
Yeah,
Jetson's on that list. Not Dean Smith. Roy Williams is on that list. So you got some powerhouse colleges that are on that list and under investigation. Now everybody's not really looking at them to say, look what happened with Shaq and his son. He left. What school was he going to?
I don't know where his son was going.
I forget what school he was going to, but he dropped out and now he's going to UCLA. But all of that stuff could be eliminated. So
Jam Shield says players get paid. Ain't nothing new. They just getting caught up because they have gotten sloppy.
Absolutely.
I'm sure.
Well, it's social media era, right? Like it's only a matter of time with stuff like that. Like, what I mean? My money under the table, we moving. Now, next thing you know, you got a college player talking on Snapchat, talking about, look at this vehicle. Come on, fam, where you get it from? Okay, we know you ain't got no job.
Yeah, you eating oodles and noodles in school as you driving, whatever you driving.
Right, with a Porsche. Come on,
Porsche. Yeah. So, you put that kind of opportunity in front of somebody that's 18 and their family's not doing really well and things like that, they're going to take it every time. So they need to maybe relook at the whole system. But somebody really powerful is going to get in trouble to make them change that. Watch.
I don't know. Like I said, they got an FBI probe. I think it's going to be a couple people that's going to get in trouble. It's about to change the whole. They're going to have to change the rule.
Absolutely.
All right, well, that was the AOPOV, the point of view. Shout out to Deidre Jones, Marlena Green, Tiana Jackson. Thank you guys for tuning in. If you're just tuning in, we have a wonderful show tonight to protect and serve. Someone please call 911.
Shout out to Wyclef.
The police and the community, we have a wonderful officer in the building with us. He doesn't want to be called officer, but Mr. Daquan is in the building. He is one of Delaware's finest officers in the building. And we are going to just talk to him tonight about the police and the community. Let me start with this. Communities rely on police departments to protect and serve. And the police in return rely on the community to support and cooperate. but the relationship is not always harmonious. Researchers have examined the relationship between law enforcement agencies and their communities in several countries, and today we are going to talk to Mr. Jaquan about it. It's the other side of the coin here.
Yeah, other side of the blue.
Other side of the
Other
blue.
side
Other blue.
Yeah.
Yes,
So, you know, what I will say is, and I kind of know half of the story, but we're going to ask it for everybody that's listening and watching. So, my first question to Jay, I can't call you Smooth, is, you know, talk about where you're from and your journey into being a cop. Like, what made you want to be a cop?
Yeah.
Because, you know, the stigma from where we grow up in our community is that we don't talk to cops. We don't want to be cops, right?
Yep.
So, talk about that.
I'm from the Bronx, Monroe, projects.
Do you what you're saying?
Gosh, cut it out.
For real, I didn't even grow up wanting to be a cop. It was always a thought, but I was like, nah, I can't see me. My thing was I wanted to work on dirt bikes. That was my thing growing up. That's what I wanted to do. And my brother Ronnie, he always felt like, I think you could do it. Matter of fact, I know you could do it. So he would try to put that buck in my ear when I was young. I was like, I don't know. Then I got older, thought about it. Originally, I wanted to do probation.
Okay.
And then once I started like actually doing the research on it, I don't think I want to do it. So I ended up doing a ride-along with the police department. I got to witness it firsthand and everything like that. And I was like, I could see me doing this shit. You know what I mean? So it grew on me. I kept doing ride-alongs, and I'm like, yeah, I'm locked in.
So how do you go from the hood to now the blue?
Well, I'm blessed.
Right.
I had very good role models, male role models in my family. Corey, you know, my brother Ronnie, my uncle Keith, just all my uncles, everybody. You know, I don't want to, you know, leave anybody out. Yeah,
It's like 1,000 of them.
Yeah, seriously.
So
Everybody.
Anybody.
Yeah, they all cool. So they always looked out for me, guided me. So.
Right. Wow. So you went from wanting to work on dirt bikes to become a cop.
Yeah.
Yep. No, I was just going to ask, is the perception different than the reality? So because before you were a cop, what you thought it was like, even though you have family all in the world, you know, versus you having the gun and the badge, did that change the whole perception of the reality of it?
Yeah, that's one thing I can say. The perception and the reality. It's totally night and day, literally.
What's the biggest difference?
I would say a lot of people get consumed and wrapped up what they see on the internet, social media. There's a lot of things that's left out that people don't see, that police officers do. They see things on social media and take it and run with it. That's not how it is. I feel like a lot of time, media tells one side of the story.
Right.
People feed into that. I don't think that's cool. You want to tell the story, you need to include everything. Don't leave nothing out.
Absolutely.
And just for those of you who are watching and tuning in, because of Mr. Jaquan's job, there are certain questions that he will not be answering on the air or off the air. We want to definitely protect his job, and you know what he's doing. It's a privilege to have him here, but of course we want to protect him as well. So just let you know the exact questions that doesn't get you.
Gotcha. So, you know, my other question to you would be, like, but I think Jarrell kind of led into it. You know, what is the biggest misunderstanding from a law enforcement perspective? Like, what do you feel like people misunderstand the most about being a cop?
Oh, y'all all really bad.
No, absolutely not.
I'm just saying, because you know that's the word. Like suck. You know, they all bad. They terrible. Get away from them.
You know why people say that though? Because you don't handle things the way that they want it handled.
Right.
That's why I think a lot of people say that. But go back. My bad. What you say?
So, what do you feel like the biggest misunderstanding of a cop or police officer is?
From the community, you saying?
Yeah.
They just don't understand. That's just what it is. I mean, just a lack of knowledge. That's it. They don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I think that I agree. I think though, even I used to remember, even before Jaquan became a cop, I used to be like, I don't like cops. Only like one cop. That's my other nephew. Right? But I really don't understand what that was. But I think it is also based off of the perception of what we were raised to say or what we were raised to feel like. And then it kind of shifted from now it's not just a race thing. You don't like certain types of police officers. Now you just don't like cops at all, right? But I think the perception also is that, you know, and just in conversations that I've had with my family and other police officers, everybody just want to go home at the end of the day. You know, they have families, they have kids, they have things that they want to get to. They want to wake up and see tomorrow also. So everybody's really just trying to go home. And when they had that conversation, they talked about it. I was just like, wow, I never really kind of looked at it like that. And you kind of show up with this stigma on your back, even when you know you're doing wrong. Right. Even when you know you're doing wrong.
Right. Well, if you can share with the people one thing you want them to understand about you cops, and I know Corey did say it, which I think, and El Diablo just confirmed it. Like, you know, cops aren't bad; they're human at the end of the day.
Right.
Like you said, you just want to go home too.
Right.
But if there is something that you could help the community understand about being a police officer, what is that thing that you could, like, give us one or two of the things you want them to understand about y'all? Besides the fact that we know you. We understand y'all are human. So if you didn't know they're human, they are. Now you know.
I would say we go through a lot. We go through a lot. Like, seriously, we go through a lot. We see a lot, and that's just what it is. I remember when I was in academy, they would say, as a first responder, you see things that the human brain is not supposed to see.
Right.
And at first, when I heard that, I was like, okay, I understand the message that they're trying to say. But now, now I'm living it, I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Now I got a question to follow up with that. How do you avoid getting sucked in or whooped or having your mind whooped by the traumatic episodes that you witnessed, right? Because that's a joke, right? It's like getting punched in the chest. Wham! All right, hold up. I'm supposed to breathe normal now? So how do you, I guess, maintain sanity through that? Because sometimes it's a lot.
Yeah, it is. So I can only speak for me. I can't speak for the next person. But I mean, generally, I think you should speak. You should talk to somebody. Whether it's family, whoever it is. I know me, I'm comfortable speaking to my uncle, my brother, both of my brothers. So I think just having like a solid foundation, a good core of people that you can just vent to and speak to. And that works for me. So.
Yeah, I was going to say that even being in a line of therapy, you know, I have witnessed that those who are in the law enforcement fields, EMTs, doctors, therapists, we are traumatized daily.
Yep.
You know, traumatized daily. So, and like I was talking about it in the car, you know, I do feel like some police officers, specifically because that's what we're talking about right now, they do respond not just from the moment of what's going on, but from the trauma of previous events that had happened and that they encountered, that jolt you was talking about.
Right.
So unfortunately, due to lack of coping skills or inability to cope, or maybe not enough time to cope, like we were talking about, you may have come from one call, now you want another call, you're still responding, your body's still responding or processing what happened prior to. Now, unfortunately, you can't really give 100% this way, the right way. Because you're still, because like you said, you guys see things that the mind is not supposed to.
And like we talked about in the car, like, that's hard to transition from. Like, you could, whatever the call, I use the example of responding to a child that died. And now, you calling me because you having issues with your son. He doesn't want to go to school.
Right.
And I have to come deal with you, but you don't know that.
Right.
I just dealt with seeing a 3-year-old kid that, that was dead. So, like you said, we human too. How am I supposed to process that?
Yeah.
So I'm sitting here with you. The human in me is like, I can't even really focus 100% on this person that needs my help.
So I think one thing to take into consideration when we're dealing with officers too is that, we have to consider what they're going as well.
Yeah, you have to.
We have to consider it. Not all officers, just like us, we don't deal with things appropriately sometimes. And that's why some officers may come off real crazy. But we have to consider that they may have just came from a situation like that, so they may not actually be focused in the right way. So your attitude ain't gonna make it no better.
So 2 things I want to say. A, just to keep it all the way 100, I think that one thing that people don't always get is humans are humans are humans are humans. Right. When I say that, no matter where you go, there are good people and bad people, no matter where you look, no matter what you're into. That doesn't change because somebody has a badge and a gun. Absolutely. It just means that they're still a human, right? So that part, and we are all the sum of our experiences. So whatever I know, right? Sometimes, like, and I'm sure sometimes you have to forget what you know, right, in order to move and operate properly. Because what you know or what's ingrained in you got to be set aside to have that unbiased view. And on the other hand, because y'all deal with humans, and I think that this is another question. Because when people need law enforcement, most of the time, or need first responders, most of the time they're going through a traumatic episode, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So they're dealing with shock of their own self, and sometimes they're not aware of it, right? So what can be some of the hardest parts about having to deal with that thing of somebody else going through the trauma while you're going through, you're watching this trauma occur, right? And you're dealing with them.
It's hard for me to explain, to be honest.
Okay.
I'm
okay.
gonna be real. It's hard for me to explain right now. That's a very good question. It's one of those questions where I would have to sit and think and process. Yeah.
Well, I can speak to that from a therapist perspective, because we're all, and again, there's no correlation. No way is it the same. But we're hit with a lot of trauma too. But we're taught to learn how to cope within ourselves first, and not just react. Their situation is different because it's an emergency situation. Most likely, it's a really intense situation where somebody comes into my office saying, "Listen," for example, one of my clients came and said, "My husband, he pushed me out my car at the stoplight." You want to respond and be like, "What the hell?" But we have to learn how to bring it in, remain professional, remain calm, not react. But I know for their situation it's a little bit different because they're in the moment. Everything is on 1,000. Y'all have to be the professional. So I'm sure it's very hard.
Yeah. So I was just reading this comment by Diablo Beckham. He said, "If stopped by a cop, just cooperate and keep it moving." I was pulled over Monday in Philly on the highway. I gave the cop my paperwork, told him I had a loaded gun in the armrest. 5 minutes later, we were out of the way. We was on my way. I was going home. So it's really that simple. Sometimes, yeah.
Sometimes.
So, but I think that sometimes we show up with an attitude.
Defensive.
And I remember when I was, I don't know, probably like 17. I was in a car with my nephew, and I think he just kind of started the force. And he said, "Yo, you get pulled over, put all the lights on in the car, put all the windows down, just cooperate." That's kind of stuck with me, and any time. So I understand that they're trying to do their job, and 9 times out of 10, if I'm doing something, I was speeding. Usually, it's on some speeding. Shout out to the maximum, but usually on some speeding. I already know I was speeding, right? I mean, like 2 weeks ago, I was on my way to church, and I was trying to get there on time, and I know I was doing 90. I knew it. I ain't see where he came from at all. Like he just appeared, right? Pulled me over, and that was it.
You headed to the Lord. It's fine.
Right.
I can't.
I
don't make it right.
They give him attitude, and then I had my license and registration, I had my insurance card in the glove compartment, but I didn't have it at the time that he took it. So he came back. I said, "Oh, here's my insurance card. I had it." He's like, "Well, I can't take it." So now he hit me with the fine. Did I want to catch an attitude? But I just didn't.
Right.
You know what I mean? I just didn't.
I mean, that is a good statement. Of course, you want to stay calm and cooperate, but then you do have some cops, and you can verify this for me, that are just jerks. Mm-hmm. They really are. They really just jerks, and they just look to antagonize you. They look to cause an issue. How do you deal with that? Like, what do you do?
I mean, I'll say this. You feel like you're being antagonized or whatever the case is, do what you need to do. Most of the time, people record. That's the thing. That's where we at with it. 2018. That's just where we at with it. If you feel that it's going left, you can record. I encourage people to record. I do.
I mean, is it safe to say, like you guys are saying, comply but take in support? So I know a lot of people, like a lot of my friends who have they felt they've been harassed. They don't even bother to show support. They just pay the ticket. Well, no, go support. State your part. Let it be known what you felt happened.
Listen, I done sat down with people, who I gave tickets to, and they came to court, and we had a conversation, and they know, like, I'm not here to jam you up. We about to go in front of the judge. And whatever the judge says, then that's fine with me. I'm not here to jam you up. If the judge says, you know what, I think it should get dismissed, all right, let it get dismissed. It is what it is.
And Danita Pollock's comment, and I think this is what I was kind of saying in the car. Do you think cops just become used to the situations and circumstances that make them numb to seeing and recognizing that every situation is different.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I was saying, like, I think sometimes they probably become desensitized to it. You know what I mean? Whether it's the same complaint over and over and over again, or I know that there's a issue, but once I get there, you don't want to cooperate.
Yeah.
So now when I get to the next one, same kind of thing, right?
That's why I honestly feel mental health therapy should be a requirement for all officers, fire workers.
Yeah.
It should be a requirement. Like, it should be a part of y'all, job, because y'all deal with a lot. And like you say, you become desensitized, and you don't make the situation worse than what it really is because you're so like whatever to it. I really do feel like it should be a requirement. Ivy said, "Do you think some officers overreact because of fear they may have of certain people?"
Yeah, I do. Yep. That's easy. Absolutely. I do think that.
So when when you talk about fear, what is the fear? The fear of what? So there are people. The conception will be that, well, you're trained, right? You shouldn't be scared. Like, what are you scared of? What would you say to that statement?
The fear of the unknown. Like, I don't know this person. I don't know what this person's capable of. You know what I'm saying? So I would say the fear of the unknown, because you could just be 1 minute, you could be having a conversation with somebody, asking them to comply with you or something like that, and then the next minute they pulling out a knife, they pulling out a gun, just that quick.
Yeah.
Now you wouldn't even have no time to react.
Right.
Oh shit.
Right.
Now you in a situation that you won't even have no business being in.
Right.
I'm saying going that far as life or death.
Right.
Come on.
Right.
Right. Yeah.
It could be something as simple as a traffic stop.
Right.
But now it turns left. And
Just like the officer that got shot, we talked about this in there, when he got a call to the two young men sitting in the car at the Wawa.
it was just a suspicious vehicle.
And he just
That's
went
it.
out there and ended up dead, like out of nowhere. Like, that was so crazy.
I remember you were saying in the call, it kind of leads to your point you were just talking about. On Tuesday, you could be reading books to kids,
Right.
and on Wednesday, you're dodging bullets and risking your life.
Real life experience. Yeah, absolutely.
And that kind of leads back to what I was saying before, like some of the things that you guys go through on an everyday basis. If you could talk to the people and try to get them to understand something, what would that be?
Come have a conversation with me. And I'm not talking about, the uniform, I can't approach him or anything like that. If you want to sit and have a conversation, I'll be more than willing to have a conversation with you. Because I feel like I'm helping the community. I'm educating you on why police, why we doing what we're doing. Because I didn't understand it until I came on this side.
Right.
And it's a lot of misunderstanding. I'm like, damn. I understand the hood side. I understand where they coming from. They, be frustrated, or I feel like I'm being harassed. Everything that they say, I understand. I've been through that. But now I'm on this side. Not everybody can say that. And I understand their point of view as well. So.
But I think that's part of the issue too. A lot of the police officers, they don't have both experience.
Yeah.
They don't know what it's like coming from the hood. They don't know what it's like being black. They don't know what it's like being whatever other races out there and whatever other ethnicity. So they can't relate.
And that's not their fault, but that's what it is.
Right.
So with that said, because of what you said, and I'm thinking, right, in the thought of community policing, 'cause that's really what that leads to, right? Like, you're in the community, you're around the people, you're amongst the people, and sometimes it's being that approach. But I also know, because I've seen and been around enough, that sometimes that same person is afraid of the cops, right? Because I don't know how this cop is going to react, right? I just don't know.
Yeah.
So, it's hard sometimes to figure out, is this going to be a cool cop? Is this a good cop? Can I chop it up with him for a second? Or, matter of fact, you know what? I'm just going to go left because I don't even feel like it right now.
Right.
And it's hard to differentiate sometimes.
It is.
To be real.
And then on the flip side, it's hard to differentiate, like, okay, I'm gonna speak to this person, or they gonna wave back. So I'll give you an example. Speak to somebody, they don't speak to you. Like, you riding through, you like, hey, how you doing? Just look at you. So you turn the corner, now you see somebody else. You don't speak to them.
Yeah.
But they probably wanted to speak to you. They looking at you like, damn, stop. Yeah. Just look right at me and they didn't even speak to me.
The domino effect.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But so here's a unique question.
Oh man.
Right. If you could go back to the Bronx, if you go back to where you grew up, what advice would you give to that community now that you're on the other side can speak to some of the people you grew up with. You can speak to some of the people that you probably still see on Facebook, or some of the people that you still talk to here and there. And I'm sure you've probably seen some of your friends as you grew up in trouble and things like that.
Yeah.
What advice, if you could go speak to them today, would you give them?
Give me something specific.
Anything. It doesn't matter what it is. I think
you mean like a message to the community.
A message?
Yeah, I mean, because here's the thing. If I could go back and speak to probably my younger self, or give advice to people that feel like they're stuck, there's a whole world outside of the Bronx, right? There's another world just in Manhattan.
Right.
There's a whole nother world, right?
Exactly.
Just 10 blocks up the street, there's a whole nother world.
Yeah.
Your experience and my experience with the same person, just different. You know what I mean? So for you, if you were to go back and speak to your community, what kind of conversation would you have, or what advice would you give them?
Like you said, the world outside of, just the hood. That's what I would say. Like, you could make it out. Again, like we talked about in the car, I was blessed. I was one of the ones that made it out. I still go back, but I would let them know. Don't feel like you stuck here. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't think you gotta be stuck in the projects all your life. That's just what it is.
I assume you do, but I'm gonna ask you: do you ever get to share that message? I'm from Wilmington, and I know what Wilmington is, and I know all sides of it. You ever get to share that message with them?
With my community, or you talking about
no,
Wilmington?
right now, here, no, in Wilmington, because some of them need to know that there's big. Because now, mind you, in the Bronx, not for nothing, that's already in New York, right? Like you're in a space where there's a big city around you.
Yeah.
In Wilmington, there's a lot of people who don't feel like, and you know this, who don't feel like I can go anywhere but here, and I live and die for my block. So what else are we talking about? Because I'm not going nowhere else, right? And there, sometimes the mind scope doesn't see outside of this. Because I was never told that message, right? If they were never told the message that you can't actually do anything else, and this is all I know, and that kind of can put people in a box mentally, and it can be hard to get out.
But I think it'd be hard too, just to cut you off real quick. It'd be hard for the people, especially of Wilmington, to receive it, because the stigma of police, especially out in Wilmington now, becoming one of the highest crime rates, or whatever it's called, like one
Per capita.
Right. It'd be hard for them to receive anything from a cop at this point.
Depends on the person. That's not.
Yeah, that was you just took the words right out of my mouth. It depends on the person. Because I done sat down and had a conversation with somebody. I'm like, all right, about to end this conversation real quick, because they mind is stuck on whatever they mind is stuck on. I'm not going to waste my time on my breath. That's fine. And not everybody has to agree with me. I had people that really want to sit down, that really do want help.
Yeah. And
we'll just have a conversation. Some people are younger than me, some people older than me. I had a dude, 47, seeking advice from me. I'm 27. So it's just, like you said, it's all about the type of person that you are.
Absolutely.
So on the flip side to that also, so talk about some of the good things that you get to do as a cop in Wilmington, right? Again, so I'm trying to act like I don't know the story, right? But some of the good things and the joys that you get out of coming to work every day, because we know the hard side of coming to work, the unpredictable side of what could happen, and your life is not the same every day. But some of the good things you get to do as being a cop. So like, I remember when you graduated from the academy, and some of the things that you wanted to do, one of the reasons that you couldn't wait to be a cop. So talk about some of the things that you have done and some of the things that you still want to do.
I don't, how I am. I don't like to brag or boast about things that I've done, but I'll just I'll go on the most recent. 2 days ago, this dude was in front of the store. He shouldn't be there. He's loitering. He's begging people for money. I just walked up to him, asked him, like, what you doing up here? He looked me dead in my face and was like, I'm gonna be honest, I'll tell you the truth. I'm hungry. I don't have no money to eat. I'm standing up here, asking people for a couple of dollars so I can get something to eat. I don't even want the money. I'm just hungry. He started to walk away from me. I was like, come back. I was like, I'm gonna get you 2 slices. And the look in his face was like his mouth just dropped. Like, he couldn't believe I just said that. So looking out for somebody that truly needs help. You know what I mean? And that's just one example. There's things that, looking out for people. That's my thing. Like, somebody really coming to me, like, listen, I need help. I got this situation going on. You think you can help me? And then for me, like, hell yeah, I got you. I'm gonna go hard if I can. Absolutely, I got you. And then the outcome. positive for them because they're gonna always remember that.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? So going to the schools, reading reading books to the kids, interacting with the kids. You know what I mean? Because I didn't have that growing up in school.
Right.
You know, just a cop coming in, just checking on us, walking around. You know. So.
That's true. My son goes to Keene Elementary out here in Bear.
Okay.
And Troop 2 is right next door. And the kids, like, they value Troop 2 like they're a part of it.
Yeah.
Because they do. The Troop 2 comes over to the school. They talk to the kids. They've been over there playing volleyball with the kids. And they know, like, when they had the whole clown fighting situation, you know, the clowns was out and all that. There was a scare at the school that, you know, there was a clown in the backyard of the back playground area. And immediately Troop 2 responded, like, really quickly. The kids felt so safe. They felt so, like, my son kept coming home talking about Troop 2. And I'm like...
I walked down the hall,
okay, cool.
All you hear is kids.
Yeah.
Yeah. Everybody waving, and I'm laughing, like,
you like a superhero.
To them.
So two things I want to mention. With that said, and to take that point in mind, even though you're humble, right, and in your mind, hey, I don't like to talk about these things.
Yeah.
Because you know far more about the good things that y'all may do within the community, like going to schools and things like that. And for whatever reason, those things don't make it to social media. Nobody pulls out a phone. And granted, it might be a room full of 6-year-olds and they don't have phones to pull out, right? But damn it, grab a teacher. So pull it out because that's not what. Because you know, every once in a while, once every 6 months, you see the cop playing basketball with the kids,
right?
But you don't know that these things happen regularly.
They do.
Right?
They do.
I believe it, but
absolutely.
Because nobody shows us, it doesn't put it in front of us, so then people don't identify.
Right.
And if people don't identify with the cop, they don't see the cop actually being human and doing fun stuff. They only see it when it goes the other way. And now it creates the... But why is that? Because that's what's put in front of them. That's why I say, hey, sometimes you got to grab a teacher and say, can you grab your phone? Hey, let's take a little picture with you. Post a picture with the kids. Right? We live in a social media world. Sometimes the cops gotta create their own positive images too, because people will not know it if it's not put in front of them. They ain't gonna look for the thing.
I agree. So I think that should be promoted. I think the good work that's done in the community, instead of always, because you're gonna have to defend your position. Unfortunately, that's just the way of life goes. Yeah. But I think you should also be able to promote the positive things that you give, in everything that you do. Now granted, the guy that you brought food with, what does that look like? But I think when you go to the school, when you speak to some of the teachers, and when you help a kid, or when you just out there playing basketball with some of the kids, I think that's important, because they need to see that, because really you're molding the way they think, and now they think at 12 years old and how they're going to think at 21 is very different, right? And their experience with cops and police officers may not necessarily have been yours, but you can also mold them into thinking what that looks like going on in the future. Because like I said before, when we grew up, we may not have ever had an interaction with a cop, but the stigma was, whether it's in music, whether it's people that we really talk to, the cops, right? You talk to the cops, it's this, as often as that. So, I think that's important.
We got a couple good comments here, but I want to read Eddie Santiago's real quick. He said, some good cops won't speak up when other cops make bad decisions. And I feel that plays a lot into the negative image as well. And I agree with that. There are a lot of good cops out there, but because the stigma is so hard, because the stigma is so out there, it's hard for them to really speak up and have a voice. And we talked about it in the car, and I just totally lost my point. But how you were talking about sometimes when you pull people over, it's really out of goodwill to say, listen, I don't know if you know, but your taillights is out. But they already come so defensive. Yeah. As soon as you walk to the car, the F you want, and they cussing you out. And now you like,
because people feel like I got pulled over for no reason.
Right.
So you're like, all right. So let's just sit and take a step back. You honestly just think I'm just riding around and I'm just like, I'm just gonna pull this car for no reason.
But to be clear, to your point, I think that to go all the way back when you said that, it depends on your experiences, right? Mm-hmm. So if somebody has been through something where they were pulled over for no reason, now this puts this in me, right? That even though you just pulling me over because my taillight is out, and for a cop like you might really be like, hey, yo, I just wanted to let you know, you need to get that fixed. It's not that deep, right? But for them, if the last time they were stopped, it was on some extra for no reason, now they're extra tense. The second, 10 and 2. What are we doing? like because they don't know how this is getting ready to work, right? Because this is what they've experienced.
And then the push of what I said to them, just imagine if I treated you
Like the last
off my last interaction, because
Yeah.
the last person just cursed me out and called me all types of names, and I'm just laughing at them like, yeah, okay. But then what if I took that out on you? You're not gonna appreciate that. You gonna be like, that's how that last person treated you. I didn't treat you like that.
Right.
Why are you coming at me like that?
Right.
Yeah, we don't think about it.
Right.
Yeah.
It's the same
Same thing.
So
Absolutely.
one of Ronnie's comment, which we've talked about a couple of times, it says some cops have never been exposed to the hood. You made it get a cop from the suburbs, and he said, I know cops that have never been to the projects in New York. So they don't understand the culture, how we speak with our hands and how we get animated. And driving down the block, and you see kids just laughing around, joking, and you think it's a fight, and it's really not. We just outside enjoying each other and having a good time.
Right.
But you roll to that situation, we're all defensive. But that cross community policing has to happen. That's why it's good for people like yourself to be young and come from. You police your own community.
You do.
You know what I mean? So
Absolutely.
you going back to the Bronx, or him being in the Bronx and having a conversation with the same people, is very different. When you approach me, I'm not defensive.
Yeah.
You look like me,
Right.
right? The way you talk to me is very different. So when I do this, you don't feel threatened.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So I think that's different, but I think there probably needs to be more sensitivity training, and there probably needs to be more, maybe your background and my background are not necessarily the same, but maybe we can go police the same area, and I can get you to understand what this is like over here.
But just like in therapy,
Vice
we
versa.
have to do cultural competency training
Right.
because of different cultures, and what may be, somebody may present may seem offensive to me, but that's okay in their culture. And that's why all of these trainings, I really feel these law enforcement people should actually go to learn that stuff and to understand how to really interact with people.
And with that said, and I completely agree with that as well, I personally believe that they should at least either live in or live near the community that they're dealing with, right? Because what happens is if you ain't from there and you don't know that, like it's a different thing, right? There's no presence. If I don't see you at the dollar store on a regular basis anyway, but if I do see you, guess what? You know my mom, right? You're gonna say something. It's a different feel to it versus that. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Real quick, Pandora says, so the ones who made it out should go back and encourage them that can't make it. Are you willing to come to churches and encourage the youth?
Absolutely.
Yeah, he's big on that.
I have one super superficial question, but I really want to ask you. You listen to hip hop, right?
That's all I listen.
Do you ever listen to songs and then when they go there, you'll be like, really, here we go again? Because hip hop doesn't hug cops. Okay,
Yeah.
So do you ever hear the music and be like, cringe a little bit?
Not really, because it's what I grew up on.
Okay.
Right.
That type of music. It's really what difference is it? That's what we grew up on.
Yeah.
I mean, you hear it now. I mean, just because I'm on this side, that doesn't change it. Yeah.
Right.
So we got about a minute left, real quick. Want to just run around and
Wrap it
any
up.
advice that you would have.
That minute
Yeah,
went
real
right
quick.
Yeah.
So for me, I think we recognize that we're all human,
Absolutely.
and I think we're all trying to get home at the end of the day. So think about it. Next time you see a police officer or vice versa, I think about how you would want to be treated, going over what they're going through or what the other person's going through is probably my advice.
My advice would be take responsibility for your life and just do whatever you got to do to stay out of the way, because we never, like you said, we never know what they're going through. We know what we're going through, and we're not always the best and the easiest to deal with. So like me, I just try my hardest to stay out the way of the cops if I, at all costs, if I can. I mean, because some people just antagonize, they look for that fight. I'm good, I don't need to fight.
Don't panic.
Don't panic.
I would say just respect goes both ways. That's it. So just like how you want to be talked to a certain way, especially from coming from a police officer. You expect the police officer to talk to you with respect. That's what you expect. Serving the community, protecting you. So the only thing I say is give that respect back. Like that man or that woman would put their life on the line for you in a situation if it needs to come down to that.
Right.
Have some respect.
Yeah.
It goes both ways. That's it.
Gotcha.
Pray. All right, y'all. Listen, we got to wrap up the show. That went by real quick. I didn't realize the time was going like that. But thank you guys for tuning in. Shout out to Officer Jaquan. Thank you for being here with us tonight. We definitely appreciate you. You have to bring him back.
Yes, sir.
Another time. But we appreciate all you guys for tuning in to Hottest Live family. Thank you for being with us. Meet us here next week, same time, same place, right here on AO.
All right,
See you
y'all.
next week.
Take it easy.
Hey, yo.
Pandora said, I don't think I have to.
Ayo, 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 ayo.